September 17th, 2016. This is the text from a presentation I created for an MBA class that I used as a guide, so in several cases I just say, tell the story, as I have so many times before. I set it to a video and posted it today. Left home at 15, worked 3 jobs at a time, while living in my car, garages, and barns because I felt there was something important I was supposed to do. Do any of you ever feel that nagging sense that there's something you're supposed to be doing with your life? Mine was more than just another annoying voice in my head. It was like being chased by the devil. It felt urgent, and I was sure it had to do with protecting cats, but I'd never even thought about wild cats. Around the time I was 17, I began rehab and release of native bobcats who had been hit by cars, poisoned, or shot by hunters. When I was in my early 20s, I began investing in real estate by buying a $20,000 house for $2,000 because it was in foreclosure. This talk isn't about that part of my life, but by the time I was 30, I had built it into a multi-million-dollar business. I took out only enough money to scrape by each year and kept building the business because I felt like whatever it was I was supposed to do with my life, it was going to be expensive. My late husband was a hoarder. He collected guns, cars, boats, airplanes, and then he discovered wild animals. We were at an exotic animal auction on November 4th, 1992, buying llamas, when a man came in with a 6-month-old bobcat around his neck. Tell the story. She was a horrible pet. Tell the story. Don wanted a wild cat who liked him, so he called around and found a guy willing to sell him a bobcat kitten, but only if we would drive to Minnesota to get them because he wouldn't ship. Tell the fur farm story. The entrepreneur in me said, I can fix this problem. Next year, 28 more. We had contracts to never breed cats again that we made people sign. Tell that story. People started calling and saying, will you take my lion? Will you take my tiger? That's when the entrepreneur in me said, I can fix this problem. My mother always said, if you throw enough money at something, you can fix anything. So I poured millions into building cages for the cats we rescued. And we rescued hundreds of lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, cougars, bobcats, servals, caracals, ocelots, jungle cats, Joffrey cats, leopard cats, and sand cats, and an array of cat-like critters. In 1997, my husband walked out the door one day and never came back. His estranged family from a previous marriage didn't want any more of their money being spent on cats and sought to have the court put our entire estate into a conservatorship. Never mind the fact that my husband couldn't read or write above a first-grade level and spent all of his time going to yard sales and dumpster diving to bring home truckloads of trash to our home. The conservatorship meant that I was not allowed to run my own business, nor fund the sanctuary, over the court's imposed limit of $160,000 a year. That came at a time when we were spending $500,000 a year on the cats. To make up the shortfall, I had to figure out how to raise money without using any of the assets I'd accumulated over the past 16 years. People would drop by all the time to see the cats, so we started charging them $15 to walk around. My daughter was 17 and had graduated 2 years early from her private school so she could help me with the cats. She and I began writing a newsletter. We started to sell t-shirts and hats. In 1998, we discovered the internet. It was green digital text on a gray background, and the first time an image loaded, we thought it was magic, even though it would take an hour or so to load, one line of pixels at a time. We started a website and began asking for donations. We asked friends to set up jars at the places where they worked. We'd go talk to school groups and ask them to do fundraisers. We started doing a garage sale sort of thing in the parking lot, where people would bid on items we had put in or had solicited from others to donate. By 1999, it was clear that there was no way to rescue our way out of the big cat crisis across America. People were breeding them and discarding them far faster than all of the sanctuaries put together could rescue them. We had been asked by another animal welfare group to get involved in banning gestation crates. It took a year or so of collecting petitions to put it on the ballot in Florida, but what it showed me was that legislation could protect thousands of animals with the single stroke of a pen. That's when we started getting political. We promoted the Captive Wildlife Safety Act, which would ban the sale of big cats across state lines as pets. Like most animal bills, it took years to pass, but was signed into law in December of 2003. We had to turn away 312 big cats that year, and every other year that number had been doubling. We'd only rescue about 10 a year. Due to the new law, the following year we only had to turn away 110 big cats. The number of discarded cats was cut by 60% due to that one law passing. It was clear that we needed to close the loophole that was allowing the other 40% to be bred, used, and discarded, but in 2001, 9/11 happened. Donations to animals stopped. Tourism stopped. All of my assets and bank accounts were still frozen by the court. I had no way to feed the 150 or so big cats. So I sold my jewelry, my car, anything of value that was still in my possession to make sure the cats were fed. I was down to the last $20,000, which meant there were about 2 weeks between the money running out, the food running out, and the cats were going to begin starving. I was having to contemplate what it would cost to euthanize them because there was nowhere for them to go. The entire country was in a death grip of panic and fear. I met Howie on November 1st of 2002, right after those last 2 weeks were closing in on me and the cats. I'm going to let Howie tell you how he helped us not only survive, but thrive. And then this is where he took over in the presentation to the MBA class. Unfortunately, I don't have his text, I don't think. You'll have to stay tuned. If you enjoyed these video blogs of my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.